Hello and welcome to Coffee with the Dev, where we have coffee with a dev. My name is Beck and I will be your host for this episode, and I'm very excited to welcome in Liam, who is one of the developers behind the upcoming game Factory 95. Welcome, Liam.
Thank you. Hello. Good to be here.
All right. Now, we have to kick this off with the very, very most important question of this entire show, and that is, what coffee are you drinking this morning?
I am drinking, I guess it's a soy flat white. I made it myself. I've got an espresso machine. I made it myself.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it counts as a flat white, but I'm going to say that.
That's what I always say. I'm like, I make them at home and I use like a milk frother. It's like they're always just a flat white, maybe a latte at best, depending on how the foam comes out. But you know,
it just depends on how long I leave it down for. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's coffee. That's all that counts, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. So tell us, how did you get into creating games?
Yeah, this is kind of a good question. I don't know if there was like any one specific thing that kind of got me into it. Because I was like thinking back, I think I've just always been, I like the idea of like creating experiences, I guess. I think like, because I was thinking like in primary school, right? I just remember like even like telling, I guess it's kind of like D&D, but we didn't actually play D&D. But I did like a few things like with my friends where I'd be like, oh, there's this scenario, there's like zombies run into the school right now, like what would you do? And like kind of like run them through like scenarios like that. And then like, yeah, and then also just like, I played a lot of like Minecraft, and I used to make a lot of, you know, I forgot what they call them, adventure maps or something. Is that what they're called? Yeah. I used to make those. I don't think I ever like published them or anything, but I liked making these little like stories and stuff that I would just like send to my friends and stuff. So I don't know if there's like one specific thing that kind of got me into it. I was just always kind of like interested in it, and then I think like as I got older and kind of went into high school and stuff, I started using like Unity, and like I made a few games for different school projects and stuff like that. That's probably, I think I was just interested in it, and I just kind of like, I don't think there's like, I don't know if anyone has a specific moment where they're like, oh, I'm going to get into making games. I think it's just kind of, I don't know, it's something that
just
I'm kind of drawn to, I guess.
Did. Yeah. So were you heavy into the role-playing games as a kid?
No, not really.
No?
I've never actually played D&D.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think I just kind of liked that kind of, I probably, if there was people around me that were playing it, I probably would have got more into it. But I just never really had that kind of, like none of my friends were really into it. So
it's interesting too, because I feel like, at least for me, like D&D wasn't cool when I was a kid. It wasn't a thing, and there wasn't like, there's a lot more kid resources now. Like I know, I've been looking into it for my kids, and they're like, 10 and 11, and there's actually like campaigns you can do for like 10-year-old kids now, which is crazy. So it's a complete different world, apparently. All right, so talk us through, what sort of games were you playing as a kid?
I played, I think the first game I played was Halo.
The first one?
My parents, I think that's probably the first game I played, because my parents used to have like the original Xbox, and they would play like the original Halo Combat Evolved, or what it's called, like when I was a kid. And so sometimes I think I remember playing like the first one with my mum. And so I was like a big Halo fan. I was really into Halo. I like got all the games. I liked Halo a lot. And then like, when Minecraft came out, I played like quite a bit of Minecraft. I think something just really, I think everyone was into Minecraft, but I think, I really liked it. That's a really good, it was a really good like social game as well. I really liked playing with my friends and like building different stuff. Those are definitely the two like standouts of my childhood, I think. But I think like, I don't know, obviously I played a lot of other stuff as well. I remember being really into Batman Arkham City when that came out. I was really excited for that. I remember I had like a pirated copy of GTA San Andreas on my school laptop that I played a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I think, definitely like, I think Minecraft and Halo are two games that I just kind of dominated a lot of my childhood, I think.
I think Minecraft is one of those games too that like you kind of don't need to play anything else with Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
can kind of
exactly.
play Minecraft and do a lot of different things in Minecraft.
Yeah. And like all the like the mods and different like
Yeah.
servers and like all this. There's like so much stuff to do. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I played Minecraft when it came out in alpha, but I was like a
Yeah.
teenager, so I feel really old right now. But it's fine. It's fine. My kids still play Minecraft, obviously, because it's Minecraft. Everyone plays Minecraft.
Yeah.
But they freak out when I'm like, dude, I played this before it was even out properly, and they're like, what? You
That's
played
crazy.
it before? Like, what? And they're like, what's alpha? What does that mean? I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. It's such
But
an
it's such a good
interesting
game. Yeah.
Yeah. As well as, I think it's interesting that it's like it's a game that's been relevant for like 15 years or something.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
not
think.
I think that's such an interesting like
Yeah.
model of game where they're just like continually pushing updates to it and it's always like the fact that your kids are playing it and like
They obsessed. Like it's
Yeah.
a daily, like
Yeah.
probably for like a good 12 months at least they're on. And so I've got 4 kids and they all get on a
Yeah.
server together and they'll play together.
Nice.
And it's so interesting watching them play and watching their creativity and all of the random things that they do is just wild. And like I know there's a lot of people who are like they'll talk about how games are bad because they're replacing imaginative play and stuff. And it's like, dude, you should come and see the things my kids build on Minecraft because their imagination is there. They're doing the role play thing in a world, in a game with so much more freedom and creativity.
Yeah.
Minecraft is great for that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think like there was ever a moment where you're like, hold on, I actually want to make a game like for real to like put it out? Like I want to be a game developer. Have you ever had a moment like that?
Yeah. I think I have kind of an interesting, I guess, relationship with that. I think like I was always like interested in making games. I don't think I ever saw it as like a viable career path.
Yeah.
Or at least not like seriously. Because I think I was like I think throughout high school and everything, like I made games for different like subjects and stuff. And I think there was like a period where I was like, I want to become a game designer. But I just didn't really see it as like a actual
like a
option,
legit
I guess.
thing.
Yeah, like a legit thing. And even like when I was looking at going to uni, like I was looking at a few different other games colleges and stuff. And then I think I made a decision then. I was like, actually, it's not. I don't think it's, like a wise career path kind of thing.
Yeah.
I should probably go, do something else.
Yeah. So how did that journey happen from I'm making games just for fun or for class to nah, this isn't a legit thing to now I'm actually making a game for reals.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I went to uni. I studied like computer science. And then the first year out of that, I started working at like a big like consulting company. And I was there for a year. And at the end of that year, I was kind of like looking back on my year, and I just made like a lot of PowerPoints. And
sounds really thrilling.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of.
I mean, there is something nice about a solid PowerPoint. When you nail it, but
I think it's a good story to say like, oh, I hated it, but I was like, it's kind of fun to like make the nice themes and everything. But yeah, anyway, I was like, I kind of got to that point, and I was like, I was kind of looking at my next like 5 or 10 years, and I'm like, I could stay here, and I could kind of get promoted and go up and be doing this and get really, really good at making PowerPoints and get, but that's not really like, I'm not really happy. I'm not like feeling fulfilled in what I'm doing. And I think like kind of throughout that whole time in the back of my head, I was like, I like making games. And I think also during that year, I played Return of the Obra Did. And I was like, this is a sick game. And this is like, it's amazing that someone put this out into the world,
Yeah.
And I think I was kind of just like, I'm in, like, my financial situation is pretty okay. Like, I could probably live off savings for like 2 years or so right now and be okay. I'm not gonna like starve to death. Um, and yeah, and then so I was kind of just like, you know what, I could, if I don't kind of do it now, I'm just never gonna get around to it, and I'm not gonna like I'm gonna look back and probably have some regrets.
Yep.
So yeah, I just like I quit my job at the end of that year. I just started making games from there and decided I was gonna like make it into a business and wanted to uh, make money from it. I don't
Yep.
think I would recommend anyone to do that, to just quit their job and start doing it straight away.
Yep.
Because I didn't know what I was doing. Like I would probably like I don't know. I even at the point I am now, I probably wouldn't recommend quitting your job to do, you know. But I think that was just the decision I made. I just wouldn't have been like um happy just doing it as a I don't know. It's just what I needed for my like mental health,
Yeah.
I guess at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was just in a fortunate situation where I could do that. Uh, so yeah, I think that was probably the moment when I kind of got towards the end of that
When you
year,
quit
and
your
I was
job
like,
and went,
when I quit
"Yep,
my
I'll
job,
do this."
yeah, yeah,
That's
um,
a great moment.
yeah,
So I guess how you mentioned a little bit that you wouldn't recommend other people doing that. What
yeah,
has been the biggest kind of struggle that you've had, or the biggest lesson that you've had to kind of learn during the transitional period from like a probably quite structured corporate environment to working for yourself?
yeah, yeah. It is very, very different working for yourself,
Mhm.
and I think honestly the biggest thing I've learned is like uh, project management, or I guess like scheduling. So I think there's kind of like uh there's a bit of an inside joke. I don't know if it's an inside joke. It's kind of like a running joke in like game dev circles where you're like, oh, I planned on working this for 3 months, and I'll be like, oh, I bet it took 6 months, or you know, like 6 months becomes a year or whatever. Like there's a lot of talk about that, about how like projects just get blown out. Um, and I understand why. I think it's because it's very hard to tell from the outset like how long things are going to take. It's just something that's really hard to plan out, because like there's a lot of things that you don't know going into making a game,
Mhm.
just like from doing playtesting and everything. There's just stuff you can't know, and things will end up taking longer. Um, but I think that's also, it's not like an inevitable thing that's going to happen. I think it's definitely a skill that can be learnt, and it's something that I've gotten a lot better at. Because I think yeah, my first game that I started, I think so I quit my job at the end of 2024, and then I started
Mhm.
this game called Cardinal Descent. I think it was like halfway between 20, yeah, like 6 months. It was like June or July of 2024, and I
Mhm.
worked on that for like a whole year. And it's still not released. And it was because I just like kept pushing the deadlines out. I was like, once I release the demo, you know, it'll get some traction then. So the demo needs to be perfect. And I was just giving myself infinite time and just like continually pushing it back. And then I think, yeah, I released the demo, it like didn't do that well. And then I was like, okay, I can't spend any more time on this. I need to like move on to the next thing. And from there, I actually got, I guess you could call him a business coach,
Mhm.
but I used to work at this like software company, and the head kind of sales guy there made his own business where he like gives consulting advice to small businesses. He doesn't know anything about games. I just reached out to him. Yeah, exactly. It is quite good because yeah, I just reached out to him and I was like, uh, "Hey, would you be willing? You know, I'm struggling with the kind of the business management side. I just need
Mhm.
someone to be like check in with once every kind of 2 weeks and be just like, how are you going?" So yeah, I started doing that with him, and that helped like so much. And we like set like proper deadlines, and I cut features, and like just really like made sure I've hit all my deadlines. And I have done that for Factory 95. Like every deadline I've set for it, we've hit. I think it's not like, yeah. So I guess to come back to the question, I think probably what the lesson is there is, um, first of all, yes, like things do take a lot longer than you think,
Mhm.
but it's also not like an inevitable thing that deadlines are going to get pushed out. Um, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest learning for me. at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of similarities between like doing content full time and doing like game dev, except shorter like time windows. So I
Yeah,
can relate to like, no, I'll just push it out. I'll just do that video next week. That's fine.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not a big deal. And like, you've got to be like kind of strict on yourself a little bit or have someone there for that accountability, especially if you're doing it by yourself. So were you
yeah.
working on Cardinal by yourself?
Yeah, pretty much. My friend John, who's working part time on Factory 95 now, was doing some like QA for it, and he was like playtesting a lot and giving like we were kind of workshopping ideas together. But the actual, I guess, development was just me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome. So you mentioned you've got someone else working on Factory 95. How has that been different from working by yourself?
yeah. I like it. I prefer it a lot. I think just having I think there's like a few ways that's different. I think
Uh-huh.
one of them is you have to justify your decisions.
Yeah.
Um,
I would hate
and
that.
yeah, well, you have to. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a double-edged sword, I think, but it's mostly good. I think, because yeah, I think so. For Cardinal Descent, I changed the art style like 3 or 4 times, just because I was like, it's not working. I need something different. I need like more of a story that'll be more marketable. Blah blah blah. And I think I was acting like very impulsively. But now with Factory 95, like any decision I am making, I'm like messaging John. I'm like, what do you think about this? And then I think we have very different approaches to things. So on almost every issue, I think we disagree a little bit. um, but I
But
think
in a good
we
way.
have quite a good, yeah, I think we have quite a good working relationship because like neither of us are too stubborn. I think
Hmm.
we did like we might disagree initially, but then we both kind of like present our case, and then we're very good at just like the other, like deciding that the other person's right in this situation or
Yeah.
whatever. So I think that's good. But yeah, I think it's really good just like having a bit of like accountability there and just not being able to like change your mind kind of midstream, I guess. Yeah, I think it's also I think that also kind of is better for hitting deadlines as well.
Hmm.
You can't just kind of like when you are scheduling kind of the plan out, there's things that I'm doing that maybe John's relying on for the bit of work that he's doing. So I think you can't just spend like a week on something that you've scheduled for a day
Hmm.
because it needs to kind of, it's like you have to be a lot stricter with your timelines. Um, and yeah, I did also kind of touch on this before, but I'd probably count my business coach as like part of being in a team as well, because I think that's probably a good solution if you don't necessarily have, because yeah, for a while, I didn't really have anyone that I would kind of work with. I guess
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
like kind of fortunate with John because he's interested in it, and we were friends before. Um, but I think having someone that is at least involved a bit and kind of
Hmm.
knows what you're doing, at least for me, it's really important. Just so it's not just you in your head the whole time, I
Yeah.
think. Um,
It's always
so
good to
yeah,
get out of your head sometimes.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I think like having a business coach, I haven't heard of anyone else doing that, but that sounds really smart. In my brain, that's
Yeah.
me going, maybe I need a business coach. Maybe that will fix all my problems. No.
Yeah.
But like I think, it's always good to have more people in your corner, especially because I mean, are you working out of an office or are you working from home
I
typically?
just work from home. Yeah.
Yeah. So it can
Yeah.
be, I know, like for me as well, working content creation from home, it can be really isolating when you're by
Yeah.
yourself, in your own little world, doing your own little thing. Or when you only get feedback like online or like through metrics and like that kind of thing, it can make
Yeah.
it even more like isolating and you kind of get into these feedback loops and things. So having those outside kind of points of contact can be so
Yeah.
valuable for so many things.
Yeah,
um,
for sure. And I will say that as well, just like going to industry meetups and stuff is so
mhm.
good. It's so valuable. Like there's one in Sydney called Period Pixels, that's on every month.
Mhm.
and it's a lot of like students, but there's also a lot of like industry people that come to that, and you can just like bring your game, people can play it, and I think that like the playtesting is valuable, but also just like you get to talk to people, you make contacts from it. There's like other people that are kind of in a similar situation to you, and it's just like it's good to just have some of that kind of external, um,
Someone who
yeah,
gets what you're going through a little
yeah,
bit, and yeah, that
yeah,
relatability.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's been so many things where like because I think when I on the outset of it, I was like, oh, I don't think it'll be that useful to go to these kind of social things, but I was like,
Mhm.
I'm just going to force myself to go to them anyway. Um, and then I just like I went to a bunch, and you kind of see the same people at all of them. And you make like contacts and you make friends. And there's been like so many things where I've been like, I don't really know what to do in this situation, and
Mm.
I'll go message someone that I've met at something, and they'll give me really good advice. So I think, yeah, that's really valuable as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you're working full time developing? Yeah. What does a day look like in your game dev life?
um. Okay. So this year, I mean, in the past month, I'm trying to have much more of a like 9 to 5
Yeah.
strict kind of working hours. I think before that, I was quite a lot more like flexible. I
Mhm.
think if I wasn't feeling it in the morning or something, I'd go do something else for a bit and then come back and like work a bit longer. Which is like it's fine. But that also ended up sometimes I would just kind of work all day and not do anything else. Um, and you kind of it feels really good in the moment because you feel like you're being really productive. And those kind of uh, that's it sometimes is required, like coming up to deadlines and stuff, you got to work a little bit more. But I think that, yeah, I was just doing it kind of habitually where I'd just be working until like 8 o'clock or 10, like 9 o'clock every night. And because I was like, oh, I'm doing my own thing on the grind
Mhm.
set, you know? But I don't think it's good in the long term. I think that you just end up taking longer on stuff than you need to. And you end up just, I don't think I got like burnt out.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that you just make worse decisions. You just feel kind of worse about everything. Um, and yeah, so I think this year, I mean, the last month, I've tried to be a lot more like, okay, I'm working between 9 and 5. If I need to do a little bit more outside of those hours, I can, but it's not like, they're like, these are my working hours, and that's what I'm kind of doing. Um, so I guess to answer the question, um, yeah, so I try to take out Mondays for marketing or
Mhm.
or like planning, anything that's not game dev specifically developing.
Yep.
I'm going to do on a Monday.
Mhm.
Um, and that's also kind of like planning out, maybe scheduling posts for the week and that kind of thing. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm doing like developing, and then Fridays now I'm taking out for kind of work planning out for the next game, like prototyping and brainstorming ideas and market research
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. That's just because of like the phase of development I'm in right now. I think
Mhm.
I wouldn't do that all the time, because when you have a bit more work to do. And the other thing is I'm also taking out uh, between 4 and 5 p.m. now. I'm taking out to play a new game like every
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Um,
Market
yeah,
research. Market research.
yeah. No, like genuinely it is.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of
No, it
like
is.
says that, like, oh, it's market research, but it genuinely is.
Yeah.
Because I think that's also everyone always says like you should play more games, you should play more
Mhm.
games, and I realized that like I just genuinely wasn't playing that many games. Like I'd played like I played like Oberdin, and then I played Balatro, and then I played like I played like a
I
few other
mean,
big
both
games.
solid games, but yeah.
Yeah, of course, but like I think uh yeah, it's like so important to play also playing games that are like the games you're trying to make as well, and that are in the same kind of market as you. Um, because yeah, I think over the winter sale, like Chris Zukowski, the he's like a marketing he's a marketing guy. I would definitely recommend.
I
Yeah.
think I know
Um,
the name, but I'm really bad. I would
no,
like
it's
know them
yeah.
if I saw them kind of like, or if I saw like their YouTube, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know that person. I watch them all the time, but I'm
Yeah.
so
I
shocking
would
with names.
yeah, I would kind of assume any game devs listening would probably know who he is. But
Yep.
anyway, he posted this list. He has a blog,
Yeah, yeah.
but he posted this list of like over the winter sale, he was like, here's some games that are on kind of sale right now that are made by that are kind of like smaller scoped and that are in good
Yep.
genres. And I
Hmm.
just went through and like bought all of those games over the winter sale, and then I just like got a big list of it, and then now I'm just kind of going through every day and just playing like one and then kind of writing notes on it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been like really valuable, I think,
Mm.
because I think even just like there's some of the games I've played, I'm kind of like this isn't as polished as I would expect a game that's sold
Mm.
this well to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so many like little things like that that you kind of learn that you wouldn't get just by, I don't know, looking at a Steam page or
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I was even doing that before either. So I don't know. But yeah.
What's been your favorite that you've played, or what have been some standouts that you've been playing?
I played what's it called? Dungeon Claw Law.
Oh, yeah,
Um
the claw machine one.
the claw machine one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was really good. I
Uh-huh.
think a lot of the games I've played, this is why I'm doing it in work hours as well, because I think I was really struggling to do it before because I was doing it on my kind of relaxing time. And it's like playing a new game is kind of, it's not necessarily fun straight away. You kind of got to get into
Yeah.
it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one where I was like, I had to like pull myself away. I was like 6:30 or 7 when I started at 4 o'clock, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm actually, yeah, it was a good game.
Ooh.
But yeah, I think that one was quite good. I also played, uh, what's it called? Delivery. The game, it's like a delivery. You play as like a delivery van.
There's a lot of delivery ones.
Easy Delivery Co.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool game. Yeah. Um, I think like the small open world is quite a cool idea,
Mm.
and I think just the aesthetic of it, like the fog and everything, is quite
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I like that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, what have you learnt? I know you mentioned a little bit, but what have been some of like the unexpected kind of lessons you've learnt just from playing other games?
Yeah, I think definitely the polish thing
Mm.
is something that I didn't really expect. Yeah, I think. Oh, actually, this is a good one. Tutorials.
Mm.
A lot of these games don't have that, like any tutorial. No, like as a good thing. Like a
Tutorials a
lot of them.
big thing as well. Like
Yeah,
accessibility, from an accessibility point of view, I know tutorials
yeah,
can be very contentious, which is really interesting when you think about it.
yeah, um, yeah, definitely. But I think also just like the way that the games are designed, you can
Mm.
just kind of pick it up by playing. Like they'll have like a little bit of explanation at the start, maybe, but like Dungeon
Yeah.
Crawler like didn't have any tutorial at all. You
Yeah.
just kind of started playing.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's a aspirational goal.
Mm.
I think because I think for Factor 95, it's like it is a very hard game to just pick up and start playing. Like you need the tutorial there because
Yeah.
it's just not, you don't really know what to do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, apart from that. But yeah, I think, yeah, tutorials is a big one. Um, I think uh also, yeah, I think also the I think they call it like the conceit of a game.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm using that right, but like uh having an overarching goal that you're working towards.
Yeah.
Um, I found the games that I've played that have that are a lot more like enticing for me.
Yeah.
Um, like I played like 4 or 5 incremental games at the start, and uh the one that I really liked was this game called Execute.
Mhm.
Um, I've been messaging the dev actually; he's a cool guy. But it's like it's a Windows 98 themed game where
Mhm.
you have to like kill the whole world basically, and you're kind of like setting people up to like
Think
you like jail
yeah.
them and then you like execute them and you like
Yeah.
buy all these new machines and stuff. But that one's really good because you're like, I have a specific target that I'm working towards.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so that feels very much like there's a reason for doing what I'm doing, and you kind of like there's a bit more of like a narrative around it. Um, Whereas like I think some of the other incremental games that I played was kind of just like there's like the numbers going up, and I was like
Yeah.
it's cool, it's fun, but it's just not. I don't know. I don't have that like. There's no reason for what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am with you on that. I like to
Yeah.
have a solid kind of point to why I'm
Yeah.
playing, I guess, in a lot of ways. And I
Yeah.
guess like there is a lot of people who do like the just whatever you call it, the very quick game loop, and then not really having too much of like a progression. But
Yeah.
it's interesting because I mean, arguably those games have the most replayability, but then
Mm.
are they enjoyable, or are they as enjoyable as a different game? I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on the game you're making, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm sure I think yeah. I'm sure like some of it is just like personal taste as well, like the kind of
Yeah, for
games
sure.
I like to play. So it's a little bit hard to like pull that apart from because like a lot of these games I've played, like I haven't personally enjoyed them that much, but I read the reviews
Hmm.
and like people are loving this. So
Yep.
I think you've also kind of got to separate yourself a little bit from yeah,
Yeah,
from like
yeah.
what you
Separate.
personally like versus what's a good
Yeah,
game, you know? Yeah.
yeah, and what parts of the game are good and what's executed well and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Because like you can love the look of a game but hate the gameplay
Yeah,
for your
exactly.
personal taste. So yeah, yeah, that would be both challenging but also like good practice to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So has there been anything that's really surprised you about game dev?
I think the amount of I know everyone probably says this, but the amount of business and marketing stuff.
Mm.
Like I obviously knew there would be some of that, but it's like a lot more. It's a lot more than I expected, I think. Because I guess it makes sense. Like you're running a business.
Yep.
But yeah, yeah, there is like quite a bit of like there's just always stuff to do
Mm.
for like marketing wise or like yeah, I think planning for the next milestone or like scoping even and I think it even kind of factors into of course it factors into like the game development itself because even now like I'm trying to come up with like the next game I'm going to work on
Hmm.
and I'm actually kind of struggling with it because um I kind of have all these requirements in my head for what the game needs to be. Like I want it to be like small scoped, I want it to be in a good genre, I want it to be this and this.
Yep.
And I think that yeah, I probably need to separate myself out from it a little bit. But I think
Mm.
I think the point is I think the business side of it comes into it a lot more than I kind of yeah, would have expected.
Yeah.
I think definitely like from the outside looking in, it feels like you're just making the game that's cool and fun to you and people will play that. But it's not like
There's
that.
so much more.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so yeah, how I guess this kind of comes into talking about like cardinal descent and what happened with that. So how did you decide not to move forward with that project? When did you kind of
Yeah.
go, this is not a smart, I guess, was it a business decision?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I touched on it a little bit before, but yeah, I'd worked on it for about a year.
Hmm.
Um, it was my first like proper serious Steam game.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, I think kind of what happened in that year is um, so I'd heard that like there's some games that are good social media games that look good when you post them and they're easy
Yep.
to market. And there's
Hmm.
some games that are like gameplay games that like once you release the demo, um, that's kind of when the wish list and the marketing and everything kind of starts properly then. Um, and so I think I got a bit trapped in that because I was like, once the demo comes out, like it'll be um, that's kind of like like it might not be doing that many numbers right now. Like it might be hard to market it right now, but once the demo comes out, that's when all my problems will be solved and kind of thing.
Yep.
And I kind of got a bit trapped in that because I was like the demo has to be like perfect then. Um, and so I spent like ages just like tweaking the demo and changing the art style and changing this and that. And then I put the demo out there and it just like didn't really do anything.
Hmm.
Because of course it didn't because I had like 500 wish lists or something. Um, and which I know that now. I didn't know that at the time. But yeah, I think so. I put that out there, and then I didn't really do anything, and I was kind of like, oh, okay. so clearly looking back on the last year, I have done something wrong here, right? Like um, and I was like, kind of like, either I can put another few months into this right now and put it out there,
Hmm.
or I can just move on. And I was like, I think I just need to move on. Um, so I think it's really, really important to take a, because yeah, you are running a business, right? I think as much as it is a creative pursuit, I think like it is really important to realize how valuable your time is
Yeah.
and where you should spend it. And I think it's like you can't get so caught up in, it was like sunk cost fallacy, right? Like I it was very, very tempting to be like, I've worked on this game for a whole year. I don't really want to throw out all this progress. But it's, like it's been an amazing decision to just cut it where it was and spend all my other time, like spend the time that I had on Factory 95.
Mm.
And yeah, so I think, yeah, definitely a business decision, and definitely like, I think that definitely the takeaway from that is just, you know, your time is really valuable, and yeah, you need to use it wisely, I guess.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I guess like what obviously you spent a year on that, and I could
Mm.
would you say that that was like a waste, or do you reckon you've really learned a lot from that whole process, even up to getting a demo out? I know that's a big milestone for a lot of people. So do you think
Yeah.
that you learned enough to make that worthwhile, I guess?
Yeah. I think, okay. I
That's
think,
it's a loaded question.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was a mistake to spend that much time on it, but it wasn't
Mm,
a waste.
yeah,
I think I definitely learned
I
a
like
lot
that.
out of
Yeah.
the process. And I definitely came into Factory 95 much more confident
Hmm.
and knowing a lot more about how Steam works, how marketing works, how game
Yeah.
development works. And yeah, I think, yeah, it definitely wasn't a waste of time. I just
Yeah.
wish that I learned those lessons in 3 months instead of a year.
Yeah. Like some of us are
So
slower learners, okay? There's nothing
yeah,
wrong with
yeah.
that. um I guess do you think then that like I know a lot of developers will say go and do a game jam, just get a game finished, get a game shipped,
Mm.
put it on itch, like just get something done so you have to go through that whole process. Do you think that that is something that maybe would have shortened that time for you if you had have gone down that path rather than going straight into making a full game by yourself?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
should have. Yeah. I
But you
think,
don't know what you don't know, though. Like
yeah,
you
exactly.
wouldn't have known that back then that that would have
Yeah,
maybe been a better kind of way. So yeah,
yeah. And
like
I think that small games conversation has kind of come up since then as well. I
uh-huh.
think, yeah, because I don't really remember hearing about that until like, I was always almost kind of finished with Cardinal Descent. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I think that's definitely, I think if I was starting completely from scratch right now,
Uh-huh.
I would spend like, okay, first of all, I'd do like a game jam,
Yeah.
and then I just focus on like finishing that game. I would spend like a few weeks on it maybe, and then I'd probably I may do a few of those, and then I reckon I'd go for a Steam release and try to release it in like 3 months,
Yeah.
and then like no matter
Just
what,
keep
just
the
release it in
scope
three
really
months.
small and just go
Yeah,
through that process. And
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
for
not
sure.
about the game being successful. It's about
It's about
learning the
learning.
steps. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
even now it's about learning.
Yeah.
Like I think you're always kind of learning, and I
Of
think,
course.
of course, but like
Yeah.
I think there's just so much you don't know, and I think just yeah, you just like can't. Yeah, I'm kind of just of the opinion of like you don't know how you don't really know how Steam works. You don't really know how marketing works when you like first start out. Why would you spend any longer learning that than you need to? Like,
Yeah.
why would you be, if you're spending 3 years on your first game, are you really learning about how a Steam launch works
Yeah.
after putting 3 years into it? Like,
Yeah.
well, you can learn those lessons like so much quicker and easier. And yeah,
With something smaller, and then it's not like as much
yeah,
pressure, I guess, for it to do well because you haven't
yeah,
spent 3 years of your life and your savings working on it. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
for sure.
that's such a valuable kind of insight, I think, especially for people looking to get into making games. It's like you don't have to
Yeah,
make some crazy scope what do they say not to make? MMOs or something?
Yeah.
Don't make an MMO, make a
Yeah,
small
yeah,
tiny game. Ugh,
yeah. And even just like, I think definitely like don't make an MMO, but also just like don't make the game that you are thinking of either for your first game. Um, like I think genuinely, because I think sometimes you come up with ideas and you're like, yeah, I could make that in 3 months. But,
yeah,
you should be coming up with an idea that you can make in a day, and it's
yeah,
probably going to take you a week. And the first time
yeah,
you're making it, right? And then I think slowly build up from that. Um, yeah, I think there's definitely. I'm not like trashing big projects. I
yeah.
think there's definitely a lot of value that comes out of
Mm,
that. But if you're starting, you don't know enough to be able to like start at big projects.
yeah. I think
Like you start,
especially
yeah.
yeah, if you're coming, like I know a lot of people do, the working at a studio, like a bigger studio,
Mm,
and then they go into like an indie dev kind of thing. And I feel like, in that case, maybe working on a project for multiple years isn't so bad because you kind of know the
yeah,
process because you've done it in a different capacity. But if you're coming
yeah,
fresh into it with no anything, maybe a small game, maybe a small,
yeah,
just tiny little scope game could work. And I mean, you look
yeah,
at
for
things
sure.
like some of the best games I've played have been smaller scope games.
Yeah.
Even like arguably games like Balatro isn't massive in its scope.
Mm.
I played a
I think it still
game,
took him 3 years or something, but yeah,
yeah, but like when you look
yeah,
at that game, it's very complex underlying systems. Don't get me wrong, but in
yeah,
terms of like the what that game is trying to be, I feel like the scope is on the smaller side. And
mm.
then some games like I played a game called Time Flies, which you play as like a little fly, and you only
Okay,
have like 80 seconds to live because that's how long a fly has, and you have like this bucket list of things that you're trying to do in your
yeah,
80 seconds of life, and you just fly around and do random things. Very very simple, like black and white game. Mechanics are
I think I've
very,
heard of it
very
actually. Yeah,
basic. Oh, it was one of my top games from last year. Absolutely, like
okay,
phenomenal in the storytelling, but it was quite simple. Like it wasn't anything crazy. There was no like, it was all like almost looked like it had been drawn in paint kind of vibes, like with
yeah,
black and white and just very simplistic lines, simple music, just a story that told itself, not a huge tutorial or anything like that. So it was quite a small scope game, but
mm.
it was one of the best games I played last year because of the impact that it had. So it doesn't have to be something that's super complicated and this giant open world multiplayer fantasy RPG or something that sounds
Yeah,
really complicated to make.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, some of the best games I played have been quite simple, which is interesting when you think about it.
yeah.
So let's talk about Factory 95. Where did the idea for
Yes.
this one come from?
Um, so I think probably came from my consulting job where I was making PowerPoints. Um,
Slideshows. Yep. Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think just that's probably where it first came up because I was just making a lot of PowerPoints every day. And I think I was probably just bored in a meeting and I was like, oh, this could be a game. And then, yeah, I kind of just like, I didn't really think about it again. And then um, there's this event called Gamer Week that they ran it for the second year last year.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like 5 or 6 weeks long and you meet every Wednesday or whatever. And then you have like a week to make a game based on a theme. Um, so then the theme for that week was remix.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and at the same time, there was also another game jam. I kind of doubled up. It was a bit unethical, but um, um, but yeah, I think because I kind of made it for. So I made like one version of the game for the game jam.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a PowerPoint. It wasn't like Windows 95 themed at all. It was just like kind of a modern sleek. I don't know if that's the right word. But it was like a vector art style kind of game
Yeah.
where you made like these PowerPoint factories.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I made that in like 2 or 3 days for that game jam. And then I finished that and then I was like, oh, I wonder. So on Wednesday I had so I had like 3 days to make it to like kind of fix it up for Gamer Week, and I've always just like really liked the aesthetic of Windows 95. Like I think all like the icons and stuff just have a lot of personality, I don't know. I think it's cool. And so I was like, oh, I wonder like what this would look like if it was in Windows 95. And then I kind of like changed it up a little bit. So I think it was a bit of an iterative process. Like I kind of
Hmm.
had the idea for it a while ago, and then yeah, and then I just decided to like make it, and I kind of like worked on it from there. And I know that's kind of is that's not a very useful thing for people trying to come up with game ideas, but
No, but I think it is
yeah,
though, because the amount of
yeah,
times that I know I've heard like developers be like, "Oh yeah, this started as a game jam."
yeah,
And then, I just made this little idea and then, we were like, "Oh, maybe this has got legs. Cool.
yeah,
Okay." And then pursued it from there. So, it is valuable, I think, hearing that it started in kind of that game jam kind of format, because that is something
mm,
that kind of anyone can kind of access as well.
yeah,
So you can just go and make something random, and who knows, it could be a new hit game. We'll
yeah,
find
yeah.
out.
Um, yeah, and I think I definitely didn't take it seriously at all until like um, even like on the original like itch game jam I did, there was like a few comments that were like, "This is really cool. I don't know what to do because there's no tutorial or whatever."
Yeah.
Um, and then but there was a few like there was like two or three positive comments, and I was kind of like, "Oh, maybe I should work on this a little bit more for Gamer Week." And
Yeah.
then I took it to Gamer Week, and like people that like really liked it. And yeah, I just got like a lot of like positive comments, and then I think after that, I was like, okay, maybe I'll kind of pursue this a little bit more seriously. And then I made like a GIF of it and I put it on Blue Sky, and it like it kind of like just went. I don't know if like viral is the right word. It got like 1,000 likes or something.
Yeah.
And that had like never happened to me before. Um, I'd like never had anything that got more than like 20 likes or something.
Yeah.
Um, and that was nothing like special I did. I just like because I was like I'm going to start doing a bit of market research. I'm going to maybe reach out to some other like automation game devs and just like
Hmm.
talk to them. So it's like I should probably have a bit of stuff in my profile. And so I just posted this random GIF of it. And yeah. And then I think from that I was kind of like, okay, maybe there's some interest in this idea. And then I kind of like so I think it was more of like a I guess probably like passing different hurdles is probably the right
Yeah.
way to think about it. Yeah. Whereas like I think with Cardinal Descent, I think for that one I made the original prototype for that in like 3 days, and then I took it and showed it to my friends, and they were like, "Yeah, it's like it's fun." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna work on this for a year." And but I think it's definitely yeah. I think as I said, like your time is so valuable, and you want to
Mm.
be working on something that you kind of have some validation for.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I think kind of taking a bit more of a iterative approach to it
Yeah.
is a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it sounds like it's been kind of more of a natural kind of progression, I suppose. Like
yeah,
it's not, I know exactly what I'm making before I do anything. It's more like oh yeah, I'll just make this random idea and then see how it goes. And quite often
yeah,
those are the best ideas too, the ones that you don't take seriously, the ones that you're like, yeah,
yeah.
this will be fine, whatever. I'll just do this quick little thing, and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
next minute you're working on
Yeah,
it full time.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's also something to be said for like I think I saw a YouTube video about this, but I can't remember what it was or
Mm.
anything. But I was talking about like games that like make themselves.
Yeah.
And I think like for this one, it was very much like, okay, you're making like a factory that makes PowerPoints. And then it's kind of like, okay, what does a PowerPoint have in it? And then there's like text and there's color and you kind of go between the different pages. Okay, maybe we have something that like lets you go between the different pages. And like I think it's just and then like a lot of like the different tools you can use in the game,
Hmm.
those kind of all came about because I was just like messing around with the game and I was like, oh, it'd be cool. This would be really useful in this situation. Or like there's like a filter thing that you can like run two things into it and then it'll like filter it out. So I think like that feels to me like it's a good idea. Um, if there's like if it's kind of you don't have to like force
Yeah. You're not
like
sitting
things
there
on
with a
it.
whiteboard going, what features do I need to add to this
Yeah,
game? They're just
exactly.
kind of
Yeah, yeah.
naturally, yeah.
And I also remember someone saying, you know, it's a good idea if you uh, tell it to someone and they suggest things for it. Because like you can tell it to your friend and they'll be like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. And then like it probably means it's not a very good idea. But they're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's awesome. Maybe it could have this and this and this. Then it's like
Yeah.
probably, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting advice. So when did you decide that you wanted to like make this properly? Like when did you decide that this was the game you wanted to fully pursue?
Yeah, I think probably after that
Yeah.
post, yeah, that was kind of when I was like, well, I think before that I was thinking about making a Steam page and stuff for it.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm forgetting. So I think my original plan
Yep.
was because I had gotten like a business coach around that time,
Hmm.
and my original plan was like, Cardinal Descent took me a year. I don't want to do that again. I have
Hmm.
like still have like so much to learn. I want to put out 4 games this year, and I'm going to spend 3 months on each of them. So I was going to be like, I'm going to develop one game for 3 months, yeah, and then because I think you normally need it's like a minimum of like 6 months of
Yeah.
marketing for a Steam game.
Hmm.
So I was going to be like, I'm going to work on one game for 3 months, then start on the next game for 3 months while still marketing the first game, and then release the first game after 6 months, and then
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
iterate on that from there. Um, and that was like fully my plan. So I think from after kind of the game jam and after I got a little bit of positive feedback for that one, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with this. I'm going
Hmm.
to make it in three
That's gonna
months and
be
then just kind
yeah.
of move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then I think when I did that post, I was like, okay, maybe it's got a bit more like traction. And then I launched the Steam page and we were in like your festival. And that did like really, really well. And like Chris Sigalski has this blog post that's like all these like benchmarks you can hit. So you talk about like, here's your kind of like brackets for revenue that you'll earn. And then like at the Steam page launch, like this is how many wish lists you'll get, which kind of correlates to how much you're kind of projected to earn. And
Yeah.
that was it. We were in like kind of like I think we got 1,500 in a week or something like that. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly what the numbers
That's
were, but
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it was in like kind of the upper tiers, and I was like, oh, okay. um, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll. And then I kind of sat down with a business coach after that, and I was like, look, these signs are looking really promising. I'm thinking that maybe we spend 6 months on this game fully focused on development and marketing for it. And he was like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. So that was like, yeah, I think it was kind of like an iterative process and of just getting that kind of positive feedback. But I think if I didn't get any traction, if we launched the Steam page and it got like 500 wish lists, then I definitely would have just spent the 3 months on it and then kind of moved on to the next thing. Um, yeah, yeah, I think it's just that constant like positive validation, or just kind of you want to
Yeah.
keep getting those good signs. Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I
No, for
guess.
sure. I think you've got to kind of have an element of being able to react to what's happening with the
Yep.
game and the marketing and like there's something people say in even just general content. It's like if you went viral, what would you do with that,
Mm,
like with that
yep.
virality? And there's so many people who will get 1 million views on a TikTok and then that's it. Like there's nothing that
Yeah.
comes from that. So you've kind of got to a degree, kind of go, okay, hold on. This is actually getting attention. This is actually doing something. I need to kind of work with this and see if I can get it even more and kind of keep the momentum going for it. So
Yeah.
it's a hard one to kind of call, I think, in a lot of ways, because you're like, hold on, isn't it? Is this a good thing? But
Yeah. And I think that's still
yeah.
something I'm learning as
Yes.
well. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely very hard to say. Yeah, especially because like how many games are only successful once they release their demo as well, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I think that's also just something you got to build like an intuition for. And this is like
Hmm.
another reason why I think that when you're starting, you should definitely make smaller games
Yeah.
because you just don't have that intuition. Like
Yeah.
I don't have that intuition. And that's like my next game, I'm only going to budget. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to budget 3 months for it, and then if it like anything
See how
happens with
it
it,
goes. Yeah.
I'll give it more time. But yeah, I think that feels like the safest way to approach it. Obviously, there
Mm.
is like I don't know, there is like different uh approaches you could take for bigger games, and I
Yeah.
think there is something to be said for like the marketability of larger scale projects.
Hmm.
But I think, yeah, again, like if you're just starting out. I don't think it makes sense to spend that long on
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. I know,
Yeah.
like, it seems from what I've observed, there's two different kind of types of developers. There's developers who just want to make games, and there's developers who are making one specific game that they always kind of dreamed of making. It sounds like you're
Yeah.
in that former one, like you just want to make games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And I, like, as bad as it sounds, I want to make money as well.
Yep.
I I mean, obviously I'm not in it just to get rich, because I think I'd probably pick another career.
Yep.
But I think like I want to keep making games for as long as I can.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense to make decisions that are like, gonna give me the financial security that I'm not gonna quit
Yeah.
in like
And
6 months because
to
I need to
make
go
it
get
like
a job.
a viable
Yeah.
career, not just one game
Yeah.
that you did that
Exactly.
one time. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I think that's a very kind of mature way to think of it. I don't know if mature is the right word for that, but I think it's
Be practical. I don't know.
yeah, like more realistic. Like, yes, of
Mm,
course, it would be great if everyone could just make the game they want to make and it magically is successful and you make enough money to do whatever you want. But like, when you look at it from a realistic point of view with the competition and the state of kind of the games industry at the moment and everything else, even the state of the world at the moment to a degree,
yeah.
like you do kind of have to kind of take a step back and go, well, hold on, like I need this to be a career. I need this to be something that's going to be sustainable and viable for me to live. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting kind of, I guess, position to be in. So I guess thinking of that, like how do you balance passion with the business? Because like obviously you have to be passionate about making games. I feel like there's not a whole lot of money in the games industry. Let's be honest, none of us are here for the money. So
Yeah.
there's got to be an element of passion. Where does the passion come into? We talked a lot about the business kind of side of
Mm,
it and like viability and making decisions with a business mindset. So
yeah.
where does the passion come in for you?
Yeah. I think I think okay, I think this is something that I am actually struggling with a little bit at the moment.
Yeah,
Because I think because I'm so in this mindset of like I need to ship things, and I've been very pragmatic about stuff
yeah,
for like a long time. That now that I'm kind of at the point where I'm like I need to think of the next idea, I'm like, oh, I actually need to be creative again. I need to kind of like remind myself
yeah,
why I'm kind of doing this in the first place. Because actually I did discuss this with my business coach the other day. And basically I was saying like I'm trying to come up with the ideas, but I'm really struggling because I feel like I have all these constraints that the idea needs to fit, and
yeah,
I'm really struggling to come up with ideas that are like fit all of those constraints. And he was like, you're approaching it from the mindset of someone that's been shipping stuff or that's like been trying to hit deadlines. But that is a completely different side to the creative side.
yeah,
So he was like, you just need to come up with ideas and not worry about anything else. Like, no, don't have any constraints on the ideas that you're coming up with. Um, and then just like keep coming up with them, keep experimenting with stuff, and then you can kind of worry about all that stuff later.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think there is definitely like there is a balance to be had. Like
Mm,
it is very easy to be like, this is a business. I'm treating it like a business, but you also need to remember that it is a creative pursuit,
yeah.
and
It's like you
like
can't
that
go
is
too far either
you can't
direction,
go
or
too far.
otherwise,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I think I guess also to answer the question properly, I think I think obviously passion is a really big part of it, and I think that I I'm really I feel very fulfilled when I'm doing something creative. And I feel like that's if I'm not, I don't know, sounds a bit, I don't know what the word is, but if I'm not kind of doing something creative, I'm feeling like, why am I even here?
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah,
Like, am I really like, like I'm alive at this time, and I have like a life and a motivation, and like I have a limited number of years on earth.
yeah,
And I think like, do I really want to spend that time making PowerPoints to make some CEOs richer, like,
Yeah.
um, I feel like the point of why I'm here is to kind of, maybe not the point that I'm here, but like one of
Yeah.
the reasons that I'm here, I think, is to kind of express myself and to give my view and
Yeah.
put things out there. I'm not saying this very eloquently, but um, yeah. So I think I'm definitely feeling very fulfilled when I'm doing things creatively. And yeah, I think just games specifically, it kind of just kind of overlaps all of what my skill set is as well. I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, I really enjoy coding. I'm good at coding, I think, and it also just kind of like aligns with what my interests are. So
Yeah. Which is what you
yeah,
want
I
in
think
a
that's,
career.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I guess that's probably
Yeah.
how. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. No, it does. Um, I guess like coming from that question as well, what has
Mm,
been your favorite thing to work on with Factory 95? Like what's your favorite feature or like the favorite part of making that game so
that's a good
far?
question. Um, that is a good question. Um, I think definitely the earliest parts of the project are always the most fun for me because you're not really bogged down by practicalities. You're just like making stuff for fun. Um, so I think definitely, um, I actually, okay, I'm struggling to pull out like one specific thing that I liked because I really enjoyed working on this project in its kind of entirety. I think I will identify like there's a few things that I have particularly enjoyed. I
Mhm.
think I'm not an artist, but I think I know what looks good. And I think I'm kind of able to design UI around that. So I think I have really enjoyed getting the Windows 95 look to it and kind of designing the experience in that way.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, also just, I think I really enjoyed the design aspect of it as well, like the game design. Because like early on when we were first making the game, we were doing like prototyping and playtesting like every
Mhm.
week, basically. So
Yeah.
we playtested with 2 or 3 people every week. And I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it, of like doing a build, getting someone to play it, writing down their feedback, and then, or like just writing down how they interacted with the game. And then in that next week being like, okay, they didn't quite interact with this in the way that I was expecting. How
Mhm.
can we kind of like fix that? And that is a really enjoyable process for me, that kind of like iteration. Yeah, I also really enjoyed when we put out the demo.
Mhm.
There's been like 2 or 3 people in our Discord that like really love the game. And they're like making all these different cool designs. They're like not following the levels, they're just like doing whatever, like messing around.
Yeah.
Um, and that was really cool. It was really nice to see like, these people like actually really, really enjoying the game.
Yeah, like your
And like
first
someone was saying they were like
fans.
playing it to, yeah. Well, someone was saying that like they were stressed at their job and they were like playing it to kind of de-stress. And I was like, that's a nice feeling for me. Yeah. So yeah, I think those are kind of the highlights,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Um, I guess you've launched your Steam page. You got
Yeah.
IGN featured? Am I
Yeah.
remembering that right? Your trailer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the original our Steam page launch, they posted it because they have like 2 YouTube channels. They have like the game trailers and then the IGN.
Mhm.
And they posted it on their game trailers channel for the Steam page launch. And then our demo launch, they posted it on both the IGN and the
Yeah.
game trailers. Yeah.
Awesome. What was that process like? Did you have to submit? Did they just pick it up? Was it a surprise? Did you know what was happening? Like what was that
Yeah.
whole process like?
I just emailed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff I would probably like highly recommend if anyone wants to get into game development is following Chris Zukowski.
Yeah.
Because he has this course that I bought,
Yeah.
where he just has like lectures on like all the different stages of games marketing and kind of what you need to do in each of
Mhm.
them. And so that's the only reason I kind of know any of this, because I think it's very uh what's the word, like opaque,
Mm.
the marketing process for Steam. Like you just don't know what's going on. Like you can kind of see the external things of like there's trailers and IGN or whatever, but you're like, how does that even happen? Um, but I think, yeah. So in one of his lectures, he's like, here's the things you need to do when releasing a Steam page. One of them is just email IGN. And so I just sent him an email. I was like, I think I attached, because I had the Blue Sky post that went quite well. And so I was like, hey, I'm making this game. I think there's a bit of interest in it. I had this post. I linked the post. And then I was like, let me know if you want to post it. And they got back and they were like, sounds good. Like, let me know when. So yeah, it was really simple. There wasn't really a lot to it. And then
Yeah.
for the demo one, I just replied to the same person that got back to me, and I was like, "Hey, we're launching a demo. Do you want to like feature it?" And it got quite a comparatively large number of views on the Game Trailers channel. And so I was like, "Hey, it got this many views. Maybe next time, do you want to post it on the main IGN?" And then
Yeah.
they just posted it on both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
actually a lot more. There's a lot less to it than you kind of expect there would be.
Yeah. But at the same
But
time,
yeah,
it's like, it sounds like it's definitely one of those times when you just need to shoot your shot and just
yeah,
email IGN. Like, it's no big deal. Like, it's just a Tuesday and you could just
yeah,
do
yeah.
that. Yeah.
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 Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like that's what the entire marketing process is just shooting your shot again and again
Basically.
and again. Yeah, and
Yep.
eventually stuff
And
works out, I guess.
eventually
So,
you'll get a trailer on IGN because that's really cool.
yeah.
Did you find that that made a really big impact on like wishlist numbers and demo downloads and that kind of thing? Like, did you notice that?
Yeah, I mean, when we launched the Steam page, for sure,
Yeah.
it was a little bit hard to parse out what was actually contributing to it,
Yeah.
because we were in your festival. Yeah, I think
Yeah. The Indie
there's front
Fest.
page
Yeah.
featuring for that as well.
Yeah.
Um, and then, so yeah, I had that, and then also at the same time as the IGN trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I had a post on Reddit that it got taken down, but it was doing quite well. Uh,
Yeah.
and so it was kind of hard to say like
Yeah.
what specifically. Yeah, there was definitely I mean, obviously for the Steam page launch, there was like a huge spike then.
Yeah.
But then I think for the demo launch, less of a spike. We were in the uh Frosty Fest
Yeah.
for the demo
The
launch,
mini one. Yeah.
the mini Frosty Mini, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Yeah, and that had like a little bit of an. They didn't have like the front page featuring that time, so
Mm-hmm.
it didn't have as big of an impact. And then we also had the Steam trailer, oh sorry, the IGN trailer then as well. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's like a spike, um, but yeah, I think yeah, sometimes it is a little bit hard to tell where it's actually
Yeah.
coming from. Um, yeah,
I guess like it sounds like the marketing for this has been pretty good. Like you've kind of sound like things have kind of you've hit a lot of good marketing milestones already. What has been the biggest lesson about marketing that you've learned from like Factory 95?
it's a good question. I think I definitely thought a lot more confident marketing this time. I think
Mm-hmm.
from my previous project, I kind of just like knew a little bit more what to do.
Yeah.
I think the biggest lesson is actually the theming and the idea is very important. Um, and I think basically one of the biggest reasons that it's done quite well is because it's a good theme
Yeah.
and it's kind of a fun, novel concept. And I think so. I think that compared to my last game,
Yeah.
first of all, like the concept of the game, uh, you can explain within like a sentence and people kind of know what the game is. So
Yeah.
like Factor 95 is like a Windows 95 themed automation game where you build PowerPoint factories
Yeah.
and you kind of know what the game is from that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like Cardinal Descent was like it's a deck builder where you play elemental cards against enemies and you have stickers that you go on the cards and it's just like it's very hard to explain what the
Yeah.
game is. Which of course there's like different genres that are going to be harder to explain. But I think it is very, very valuable to have kind of like a one sentence, just like
Yeah.
a very explainable concept. Um, and then I think also just like if you see a GIF of the game, you kind of know what it is straight away. And it just, you know why it's fun and you know if the game would be for you.
Mm.
So I think that like the theming of it is
Yeah.
way more important than I kind of realized. And then I
Yeah.
think also with like Cardinal Descent is I didn't really have a theme for that. It was kind of like the cards were elements, and like there was like stickers that went on them, and that was like another like I didn't have a cohesive theme.
Yeah.
Whereas I think like the Windows 95 theme is like, yeah,
It's a thing.
it's it's a theme.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah,
yeah,
like having that strong identity for the game, do you think that's
for
kind
sure.
of,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
always like to ask people to sum up their game in a sentence when we do our
yeah,
quickfire interviews, and it's so interesting seeing the difference between, like, you, from my point of view, I can tell that what
mm,
games have a really strong identity and which games don't, based off what people say.
yeah,
And, like, I guess from my perspective, kind of being on the other side of trying to help market games, I guess.
mm.
Technically, that's what I do. I don't know what I do. I just make it up as I go. No. Um, Having that strong identity comes across so much better. Like, it's so much more, like, it's so much easier for me to market your game if I can tell what your game is from a
Yeah,
sentence or a picture or a reading your Steam short description or wherever it may be. So I think that is, I can definitely attest to the strong identity thing, the strong concept, strong identity being probably the most valuable asset you can have in marketing. I guess, have you
yeah.
found, like, you mentioned you posted on like Reddit, you've got trailers on IGN, like, where
Mm.
have you found, like, have you been just kind of posting everywhere? Like, have you had a specific marketing strategy, or have you just kind of gone with the flow?
Um, yeah. Well, I think yeah. I mean, this is another thing from Chris Sikowski. Like he talks about how social media isn't really that um important for marketing. It's like you
Mm.
don't really get that many wish lists from it. Um, so I think like hitting the big. Okay, so I think actually I'm just stealing this from him, but he talks about how like um some marketing is a lot more visible than other. So like for example, like posting on social media when you're first starting out, you think that's a really important thing to do because that's what you see. But the actual important stuff is like getting into festivals,
Mm-hmm.
um, like spending some time, like taking out some time to like apply for all these festivals, filling out these forms, um, emailing IGN, like taking time to like find streamers and emailing them. Um, those are the kind of marketing activities that I think are really like effective. But that's not
Mm.
the kind of thing that you don't see any of that happen. It's all like behind the scenes. Um, so I think like yeah, I think that I've been a lot more, I guess, disciplined with that, or maybe not disciplined, but like I've planned that out a lot
Yeah,
better for
a bit
Factory
more
95.
strategic.
Yeah, and kind of
Yeah.
having these like, okay, we're planning on releasing the demo around then, like what festivals can we kind of line up? And then
Yeah.
because when I was kind of applying for festivals, I was like, we are releasing our demo around then, we can release the demo for your festival kind of thing. And like having those kind of, I think, yeah, that's definitely the advantage of like having things planned out
Mm.
is I can kind of like, here's where the big marketing milestones are going to be and what can I kind of set up for that. Um, yeah, I think that, yeah, I also like, I started doing TikTok a bit and I think after the Steam page launch, between when the Steam page launched and when I was kind of really getting into the development for the demo,
Mm-hmm.
I was doing like TikToks every day and doing Blue Sky posts every day. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that definitely it had an impact. I think
Yeah.
like I was probably getting like, I don't know, 10 more wish lists a day because of that, which
Mm-hmm.
is definitely it adds up.
Yeah, for
Um
sure.
yeah. And that was like I think this is a little bit more of a social media type game. So I think that has had a bit more of an impact. I haven't really been doing it as consistently post the demo,
Mm-hmm.
which I probably should be, I guess. But I think, I don't know, I just feel like my time is better spent at the moment, at least,
Yeah.
working on the game and also just like planning out for the next one as well.
Yeah. Uh,
So, yeah, sorry, go on.
yeah. No, I was just
Yeah,
gonna say, I think that's really smart, kind of harnessing other people's audiences instead of trying to build your own in a
yeah,
lot of ways on social media, because social media is so different to like Steam and like we know that views don't translate to someone buying a game or, you know, that kind of thing. So rather than
Yeah.
trying to build up your own platform across 6 different social medias, which in and of itself is a full-time job, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, let's be smart about this. Let's go to content creators. Let's go to, you know, IGN. Let's be in all these festivals that already have that visibility, so you don't have to do the legwork to, you
Yeah.
know, do that yourself. So I think that's really smart. Like, it is very strategic. And
Yeah.
again, like the other, what you were saying to, you know, yeah, you were getting 10 wish lists a day on TikTok or, you know, whatever, but was that time worth spending? Like taking that time out?
Yeah.
Because it does take time. Like, it does take effort and energy that you could be spending on your game. So is it
Yeah.
worth it for 10 wish lists? I don't know. That's not my call,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I think it probably, for me, it was just worth it. I think the amount I was doing was like just worth it because I was just like the last hour of the day I would kind of spend making a TikTok,
yeah,
and they weren't that like high effort.
yeah,
So I think, yeah, but I think for a different game, probably not. I don't know. I think kind of the main reason you do have a social media presence for most games, I think, is just to like have something there.
yeah. It's
So
like
like if you're
credibility.
reaching out to streamers or whatever,
Yeah,
they'll like look you up and they'll be like, oh,
yeah,
there's, you know, this is just like a random, or like for other devs, I guess, if you're reaching out to other devs, they can kind of look at your profile and be like, okay,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. And like, especially if you're
yeah,
applying for festivals and things like that, like
yeah,
having that social media presence, I think
yeah, for
can
sure.
make you a bit more credible. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is. I don't think we actually looked at social media at all when we were like
Mm,
choosing who could be in the showcase, which is really, really hard
yeah.
to do. Don't be a judge on a showcase
Yeah.
panel.
Can I
It's too
ask
hard.
you,
Yeah.
what kind of went into that decision making process?
So for us, it was a couple of things. It was the quality of the games themselves. So it was, do we think this game quality is, I guess, good enough or interesting enough? And like, obviously, there's a lot of nuance there, and that's something that I have had to get really good at, like taking that personal taste out of it a bit and kind of going, okay, do we think there's an audience for this? So for us, because we are trying to get as many eyes on the games featured as possible, it was, how do we make the best show? How do we provide the most entertainment value? How do we provide the most exciting things? So like, that's where, when we put on the form, you know, if you've got something new that you want to announce, new announcements
Yeah.
are automatically going to get priority because they're more exciting and it's something new and it's something, you know, that's not anywhere else. So that kind of increases the value of the showcase in itself. And then
Yeah.
we tried really hard to get a good mix. So we wanted anyone who watched any type of gamer to be able to find, you know, one game at least in the
Okay.
40 something or whatever it was that they would enjoy or that we thought, you know, was good. So it was kind of a mix of different things. I think because we didn't have a specific like genre theme, it was a lot
Yeah.
more challenging to try and balance everything out. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm not looking forward to doing the next one already because I've already seen the applications come through and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is going to be hard again. This is going to be really hard. And like, for context as well, like we had, I think, 115 applications and we ended up with like 40 something, 47, I think,
Okay.
in the actual showcase. So it was like less, like we culled more than half. So it was so competitive and it really did like, I think we were so optimistic going into it. We're like, you know, we'll go through the list and we evaluated each one individually and we looked at the trailers and we looked at the Steam page and played the demos if we could. And then
Mm.
we were like, we'll make like a, you know, a yes, no, maybe kind of system. And then we ended up, I think we had like, yes, maybe yes, maybe no, no. Like that was our thing because we were like,
Right.
oh, maybe, but like not high priority, maybe yes. And we ended up having like 45, I think, in the yes. And we were like, oh,
Okay.
we were hoping for 40. So we're already over. And
Yeah.
then we're like, oh, so it
Yeah.
is something that's really challenging. But I think, you know, moving forward, we know the value of the Steam event as well. And that,
Mm.
you know, having Indie Fest and having that as an event with creators and streamers and everything else like that, we really felt the value of that last time. And I think we really did that well. And so that's something we know moving forward that, like, yes, the video showcase is great. We love putting it together. We love featuring the games. We love announcing new things. Of course, it's so much fun. But the Steam event is just as important. And, we had a lot of really great feedback from games of all different types of genres that got, a lot of wish lists and a lot of love throughout, which is nice to hear. Nice to hear that you're doing something that's valuable. But
it's cool that I think it's cool that you guys are doing something for like Australian, New Zealand games as well. I think there's not that many things for us, so it's good. Yeah.
And that was the thing, like, I did the first one, it was just an Australian one back in 2023, I think, or 2024. I think it was 2024. But it was like a while back, and then the second one I think we did the end of 2020. I don't know. I did a ridiculous amount of showcases in a short amount of time and went, this is too much work. But we did, the first one before Frosty was even around. Like, we were doing that because we saw that need as well. So it's so cool to see, Frosty getting the kind of the Summer Games Fest and the Games Awards and kind of being on that bigger stage. And then we're kind of like the indie like showcase that's like, we don't want to compete with the big guys, or we're going to do our own thing, is kind of my kind of perspective of that. But yeah, it's a really interesting kind of process of, hosting something, and it feels kind of weird evaluating games in that regard as well.
Yeah, I can imagine it'd be really difficult. Yeah.
But it's all fun. It's all interesting. It's a nice break from the content grind as well, like the typical stuff. So it's good. But anyway, that's enough about me yapping about myself. All right. We're nearly an hour and a half already. Wow, that is a lot. Yeah. Okay, I guess what's next for Factory 95? So you mentioned a little bit your pipeline and everything else, but where are you at in your journey with Factory 95?
Yeah, so we'll be in Steam Next Fest in February. And yeah, so right now kind of working up to that. And then we'll probably, we haven't set an exact launch date yet, but planning for March sometime. And yeah, that's kind of it, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just launching a game. It's no big deal.
Just
whatever.
Yeah.
Just in like a month. Whatever.
Yeah. But it's actually like, I think I'm not feeling too stressed about it right now. I think because I feel like we did so much of the work for the demo. And right now it's just kind of like fixing a few bugs, and then we're just adding more content for the full game. And it's not like, like we've already put in like the settings and like all this other like analytics and like all this like other stuff that feels like, I think when we were kind of leading up to the demo, it was just like felt like there was like so much stuff that needs to go in, and there's like always something you haven't thought of. But I think now we're kind of in a bit more of a relaxed space where we're kind of just like building on what we have. So yeah, I think that's what the plan is, Factory 95, and then I want to kind of get started on the next thing as soon as we can then as well.
Yeah. Wow, that's exciting. Just launching a game and stuff. No big deal, right? All right. Lucky last question. Do you have any advice for aspiring developers? You've shared a lot already, but do you have any other nuggets
like
of wisdom?
Specific advice? Okay, definitely follow Chris Sikowski. I would say getting his course was like really, really valuable. I'm not sponsored by him, he's just really good.
Not sponsored. Hashtag not an ad.
Yeah. I did a little bit of a talk on this we had like a wrap-up party for Gamer Week at the end of last year. And I did a talk on this where I was basically saying that a lot of aspiring developers are kind of caught. But so as I said, there's like two camps, right? So there's like one camp where you're making games just for fun. It's like a hobby project, and you just like that creative expression. And there's the other camp where you're like, I want to make like a business from this, or like I want to get into the industry. I want to make money from it. I want it to be my full-time thing. And I think in my experience, there's kind of a lot of people that haven't picked a camp. Like they're kind of building things for fun. Like they'll kind of tell themselves that it's for fun because it feels like a lot of work and a lot of responsibility to kind of approach something commercially.
Mm-hmm.
But they have these kind of expectations like, oh, it's actually like secretly it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really dangerous spot to be in because like you're just going to end up being disappointed. So I think it's really important to critically like evaluate and decide, is this something I want to like pursue commercially,
Mm-hmm.
or is it something that like, I'm just doing for fun? And it's completely valid to do either of those things. But I think there's so many like stories we tell ourselves about why we're doing what we're doing. But I think a lot of it is kind of just like, I don't know, I'm getting a little bit rambly here, but you just need to like know what you're doing and just like focus on that.
Yeah.
And then I think just like putting stuff out there. I've kind of touched on this before, but just like making stuff, shipping games is probably the most important thing, at least for me. So
Yeah.
There's just so much like you don't know what you don't know. So the only way to find it out is to just make stuff. Like you can watch all the podcasts and like game dev YouTube as you want, but you're not actually learning anything from it past a point. Like I think you kind of get up to the point where you're just hearing the same stuff over and over again, and you're not going to progress past that unless you're making stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably
Awesome. That's great advice.
Yeah.
Great advice. Well, thank you so much for being the very first guest on Coffee with the Dev. This has been a really great chat. I'm really excited to be able to share this with anyone out there who finds this interesting. We'll see if there's an audience for this after this episode, but no.
It was fun.
Thank you for being on here. If you're interested in checking out Factory 95, we will leave the link in the description or the show notes below so you can go and check it out. And thank you so much, Liam. Until next time, stay caffeinated.